I have a question. Have you ever walked into an office and felt like you'd accidentally stepped into a high budget simulation game where the NPCs were programmed with only 3 lines of dialogue? You ask a simple question and you get a fog of buzzwords back. You look for a human, but you just find a suit. Today, we are dissecting the corporate normie. Not because we want to be mean, but because, for the sake of our own sanity, we need to understand the mechanism behind the mask. Friedrich Nietzsche talked about the last man, the man who seeks only comfort, who avoids all risk, and who lives in a state of mediocre safety. That is the spiritual foundation of the modern corporate drone. They have traded their will to power for a cubicle, a pension, and a standing desk they never use. Jean-Paul Sartre called this bad faith. It's when you lie to yourself about who you are to fit into the box society built for you. When you see someone nodding at a meeting they don't understand, saying, "Let's circle back and leverage our synergies," they aren't talking, they are performing. They are terrified that if they stop performing the role, the void will stare back at them. Let's talk about the linguistic torture they inflict on us. You ask, "What time are we meeting at the site?" And they respond, "Oh, we're looking at a 15-minute departure window, give or take." They didn't give you a time. They gave you an approximation of a feeling about time. Why? Because if they give you a hard number, they could be wrong. If they are wrong, they are then accountable. By using vague circular language, they insulate themselves from the possibility of being wrong. Michel Foucault would say this is all about discourse. They use jargon, low-hanging fruit, touching base, bandwidth, not to communicate, but to signal. It's a secret handshake. If you don't use the buzzwords, you are not part of the herd. And the herd, it senses you. You know the look. You ask a direct, logical question that pierces their veil of corporate theatre. For a split second, their eyes go dead. They tilt their head like a dog trying to understand calculus. That's the normie glitch. They've detected that you aren't playing the game, and for a moment, they see their own emptiness reflected in your directness. Then they pivot. "So, crazy weather today, huh? Any big plans for the weekend?" This is what Albert Camus would call the absurd. They are trying to build a wall to hide from the fact that we are all just meat sacks floating on a rock in space. They are so terrified of the silence between people that they fill it with chatter about the weather. They don't want to hear about your life. They want to hear a polite, rehearsed script so they can get back to their screens. Just look at their desks. It's a monument to repression. One succulent that is clearly dying. A motivational calendar from 2022 and a framed photo of a family they spend 12 hours a day trying to avoid. It's a curated aesthetic of "I am a productive worker." It's designed to be inoffensive, bland, and perfectly aligned. Anything slightly chaotic, like a stack of loose papers or a weird trinket that actually shows personality, is a threat to the sterile environment. They need the beige. The beige protects them from having to be a person. If you're watching this and you feel that familiar itch of frustration, then know this. You are not crazy. You are a person in an environment that's designed for machines. The corporate normie is not your enemy. They are a cautionary tale. They have sacrificed their own selves for the sake of the company culture, which is just a fancy way of saying collective delusion. So here's my question for you. What is the most mind-numbingly vague thing a coworker has ever said to you in an attempt to avoid a direct answer? Drop it in the comments below. I want to see who's had the most surreal experience. If you enjoyed this dive into the corporate abyss, hit that subscribe button and share this with one person in your office who, like you, is secretly holding back a laugh every time someone says, "Let's take this offline." Stay human, stay real, and don't let them turn you into a buzzword. Before you go, how do you handle it when you're stuck in a meeting with someone who won't stop using corporate jargon? Do you play along or do you call them out?